Hello, and welcome to another edition of Get Your Add-On. In previous episodes, I covered Arc Inventory and OPI. In this episode, I'm going to cover Power Auras Classic, an add-on which a lot of folks have asked me about. They asked me, how do I get the crosses to appear on my screen accounting for my holy power? Well, that's Power Auras Classic. Even Blizzard has attempted to duplicate this add-on, although not as successful. With Blizzard's version, you only get a predetermined set of criteria that will activate the auras, and you can't adjust them. But with Power Auras Classic, you can set the criteria to an almost infinite number of options, and decide where and when you want these auras displayed. I only have time in this video to discuss a few options, and most of them are going to be centered around my Paladin and my Warrior. But just know that once you have a basic understanding of this, you can use these to create any type of auras that you like. You open Power Auras by typing POWA. From here you'll get to the main control panel. From here you can also see what auras you already have created. You can test them, which is very important for when you're trying to set up where they're going to be located on your screen and how they will interact with other auras that you already have. As you can see here, I've already got multiple auras already set up. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to turn them off so that I can create new ones. With my auras on page 1 turned off, I'm going to go to page 2 to create my new auras. Power Auras gives you multiple pages, so as you can see, you could create quite a number of auras if you wanted. You can also decide whether you want those auras to be character specific or global effects, which will affect all the characters on your account. Step 1 to creating a new aura will be to select the New button. Once you've selected the New button, it'll open up the aura editing window. There are a lot of options in this window, but we're only going to concern ourselves with the basic ones to create our auras. The Textures slide bar lets you select which icons you're going to be using for your auras. You can use the basic textures, you can also select the WoW textures, and the final option is to use the actual icon for the particular skill or aura that you're using. Because these auras will represent holy power, I'll select an icon that says holy to me. Now that we have an icon selected, you have to tell Power Auras what circumstances you want this aura activated. You click Activated By, and the main ones that we're going to talk about here today are buffs, which means when you have a particular buff on you, a usable action, which means when a particular skill becomes available, and we're going to go down to actually rage, energy, and power, which are the circumstances in which holy power is affected. Once you've selected rage, energy, or power, you're going to tell Power Auras which type of power it is. You'll then have to set the threshold, which will be 1 for this icon. In order to make sure that it only shows when I have at least 1 power, you're going to select this little box here, which will make sure that it shows at least 1 and not if you have less than 1. For this demonstration, I'm going to uncheck resting so that it will show these icons while I'm in town. Now we will want to position our icons. You can use the sliders for the easiest way to put these where they belong. Now that the positioning for our first aura is in place, we're going to want to duplicate this aura so that we can make 2 more copies of it for our 3 holy power. So you click the copy button and select the page that you want to put it to. We're now going to select this one and click test so that it'll show up on our screen and we can alter it. For the second power aura, all the conditions are the same except its location and its threshold. So those are the 2 items that I'm going to change. I'll set the threshold on this one to 2 while adjusting the position to ensure that it is equidistant from the center of the first one. To finish out our holy power, we'll make a 3rd copy and place it on page 2. This one we'll make larger and a different color. We're also going to add some animation to it so that it doesn't just sit there static. and ensure that the threshold for this one is set to now 3. With all 3 of our holy powers done, we're now going to test it. I'll go to the target dummy, and as I attack it with my Crusader Strike, you should see each holy power light up as they become available to me. Once I have 3, I use my Shield of the Righteous, consuming all my holy power, and thus removing all the icons from my screen. I will now quickly discuss how to set up a rage indicator for the warrior class. You start with new, you'll then select your texture and set the activation by to rage or power. Here I will set the threshold to 50%. Then I'll tell it that it's rage that I'm looking for, and to ensure that I have at least 50% by checking this box. Now as I attack the target dummy and my rage increases, you'll see that once I hit 50%, Power Auras graciously shows me that, and so I immediately know that I can use whatever moves I want in order to burn additional rage. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time on Get Your Add-On.
Stop, drop, shut 'em down, open up shop.